It was the kind of meltdown nobody expected to ever happen on camera. The room was chaos. Cameras wobbled, crew members whispered frantically, and social media exploded instantly as Towanda Braxton broke down completely, tears streaming down her face, voice trembling, and words spilling out that no one could have predicted. The tension in that house, long simmering under the surface, finally boiled over. After years of rumors, denials, and secret family cover-ups, the situation had reached a breaking point. Tamar Braxton had done something unthinkable. She had reclaimed her $50,000 home, the same house that had been at the center of one of the most private and tangled scandals the Braxton family had ever experienced. What followed was nothing short of a storm, ripping through the family's legacy and exposing every fracture that had been hidden for decades. This was not gossip, speculation, or another tabloid story designed for clicks. This was an insider account of events as they actually unfolded, told by someone who had been present during the confrontation. According to them, the tension was so intense that producers had to shut off microphones, security had to step in, and a mysterious phone had captured the entire ordeal. Every detail of this confrontation carried weight because it didn't just shake the foundation of the Braxton family, it shattered it entirely. Betrayals, secret recordings, hidden financial disputes, emotional breakdowns, and legal revelations all collided in a single, explosive moment. Celebrities, fans, and even industry executives watched quietly from the sidelines, some silently choosing sides, as the drama unfolded. The moment the leaked footage hit gossip channels, everything froze. Studio sets paused, social media feeds stopped scrolling, and even the producers of Braxton Family Values were reportedly warned not to speak until legal cleared the air. By then, though, it was too late. The clip was everywhere. It showed Tamar pacing, jaw clenched, voice quivering with anger and frustration, while Towanda sat on the edge of the now infamous beige couch, gripping a crumpled tissue, insisting the situation was being misrepresented. But insiders said it was far more than a misunderstanding. Tamar wasn't just upset, she was done. Years of tension, frustration, and unresolved issues had reached their limit the moment she realized that the house she had helped Towanda secure had been leveraged, flipped, and manipulated in ways that any sibling would feel was a betrayal. The first details leaked by production insiders revealed that Tamar had entered the room carrying a thick manila envelope, packed with receipts, wire transfer confirmations, and detailed records of every transaction. According to sources, she placed the envelope onto the coffee table with such force that the boom mic picked up the sound. Towanda reportedly froze, palms sweating, eyes wide, whispering, "Tamar, please don't do this on camera." Tamar's response, steady and chilling, was, "If you didn't want it on camera, you shouldn't have done it." From that moment, the confrontation escalated into an emotional whirlwind. Tamar then reportedly revealed old text messages from years ago in which Towanda pleaded for a few days to return $150,000, promising she would pay once her settlement cleared. The messages were detailed, time-stamped, and included read receipts. Voice notes were attached, and when played on set, the emotional weight was unbearable. In one message, Towanda's voice trembled as she said, "I promise I'm not trying to take advantage of you. I just need a little time." By itself, that revelation was shocking, but Tamar allegedly had more. She reportedly played a recording the world hadn't heard, where Towanda explained months later why the money still hadn't been returned. Her tone was dismissive, almost flippant, "It's not that deep. You don't even need it like that." That simple line carried the potential to ignite fury, and it did. The entitlement and casual dismissal were enough to push Tamar past the point of no return. But the situation didn't peak with the recordings. Tamar allegedly held up a set of documents for the cameras, public bankruptcy filings showing Towanda's name listed as a debtor, and Tamar's as a creditor. The room reportedly went silent. Crew members shifted nervously. One producer gasped. Towanda's composure, previously fragile, finally broke entirely. She reportedly stood, mascara running down her cheeks, screaming, "It wasn't like that. You don't understand what I was going through." She attempted to grab the documents from Tamar's hands, but security intervened. The tension was so high it seemed like the room could explode at any second. Tamar, never breaking eye contact, simply said, "I understand exactly what you were doing." The drama intensified as insiders revealed that Towanda had spent months behind the scenes trying to prevent this confrontation from happening. She allegedly reached out to family members to publicly support her narrative, insisting that the money had been a gift, not a loan. One sister reportedly hesitated but eventually agreed to back Towanda, while another reportedly rolled her eyes and suggested she simply apologize. Towanda, however, wasn't trying to apologize, she was trying to rewrite history. Years of simmering resentment and mistrust exploded into the open as Tamar's voice cracked, filled with raw emotion. "You let people call me a liar. You let the world drag me while you hid behind silence." Towanda, shaking, whispered, "I didn't hide. I didn't know how to fix it." Tamar's sharp response was immediate, "You fix a lie with the truth." Then came a revelation that stunned everyone present. Tamar produced a leaked email Towanda had allegedly sent to her attorney during the bankruptcy process. In it, Towanda reportedly wrote, "Yes, list her. She won't make a fuss publicly." Tamar read the line aloud, her hands trembling slightly. Towanda reportedly collapsed onto her knees, sobbing, insisting she never meant for Tamar to see the message. She claimed she thought filing bankruptcy would erase the debt and allow everyone to move on. Tamar didn't waver. "You thought wiping the debt meant wiping the betrayal," she said. As the confrontation continued, leaks began surfacing in real time. Production insiders claimed someone on set was feeding private updates to a gossip page, posting quotes and snippets of dialogue within minutes. Fans began analyzing old footage, piecing together clues from previous episodes and interviews. Every sidelong glance, every avoided question suddenly made sense. The tension, the subtle conflicts, the moments of hesitation, all of it seemed like a precursor to this explosive confrontation. The situation escalated further when Tamar revealed she had contacted the bank months earlier to reclaim her stake in the home legally. Allegedly, the original contributions had never been documented as gifts, giving Tamar legal leverage. Whether the bank's inquiry was ongoing remained unclear, but it was apparent Tamar wasn't just confronting Towanda emotionally, she was confronting her legally. At that moment, Towanda reportedly screamed, "If you take that house, you take everything I have left," and collapsed, sobbing and shaking violently. A medic reportedly stepped in to calm her, but the raw emotions in the room were undeniable. Tamar, expression tight, whispered a line insiders claim could go down as one of the most infamous in the family's history, "You should have thought about that before you took from me." Then, as if the room wasn't tense enough, a crew member's phone buzzed. The notification reportedly contained a new leak, one that revealed Towanda allegedly owed money to yet another sister. The room froze as everyone processed the news. Tamar's gaze sharpened. Towanda's hands slowly fell from her face, pale and drained, realizing that the confrontation had just expanded. Another sister had stepped into the drama. Within seconds, notifications multiplied, screens lit up, and gossip spread like wildfire across social media. Fans were dissecting every angle, speculating endlessly, while the production team tried to maintain order. The tension reached a new high when Towanda Braxton sent a cryptic tweet, "Should have paid me back when you had the chance." The message had no names, no context, but those who knew the family recognized her cadence immediately. Tamar's eyebrows rose in surprise. Towanda had stayed neutral in almost every feud, yet now she was openly supporting her sister. Towanda, gasping softly, whispered, "She promised she wouldn't say anything." Tamar, unblinking, responded, "Looks like promises run in the family." The air in the room became thick, suffocating even. Production whispered about stopping, but the director insisted the cameras keep rolling. The story had already gone public, and there was no turning back. Towanda's phone vibrated nonstop as calls and notifications flooded in. Tears fell onto the screen as she stared, helpless. Tamar watched her silently, not with empathy but with a sense of calculated resolve. It was the weight of years finally speaking for themselves. Then Towanda's phone lit up with a name she dreaded, Tony. A gasp escaped her lips. Her hands trembled as she answered. Tony's words, sharp and cold, cut through her defenses. Towanda curled inward, whispering, "I was going to fix it," but even as she spoke, it was clear the situation had grown beyond repair. Every revelation, every leak, every confrontation had compounded into a catastrophic implosion that left the entire Braxton family shaken to its core. What started as a private family argument quickly turned into a public meltdown that no one expected to see. The situation became so intense that it felt like everything the family had tried to hide for years was finally coming out all at once. At the center of it all were Towanda Braxton, Tamar Braxton, and their older sister Toni Braxton, along with the rest of their well-known family. Towanda was already emotional, but things got even worse when she got a call from Toni. Her voice was shaking as she begged her not to get involved, saying that she was never supposed to be dragged into the situation. But Toni was no longer willing to stay quiet. After seeing the family name trending everywhere for negative reasons, she had clearly reached her limit. According to someone who was close enough to hear parts of the call, Toni said something that made everyone in the room freeze. She reminded Towanda that she had warned her a long time ago that the truth always finds a way to come out, no matter how deeply it is buried. Hearing those words seemed to break Towanda even more. She started crying harder, holding her head as if she could somehow stop the pain. Tamar stood nearby with her arms crossed, not because she was being cruel, but because she had finally reached a point where everything made sense to her. Years of confusion, silence, and tension were starting to come together, revealing a painful truth that had been hidden for too long. Just when it seemed like things could not get worse, another leak appeared online. This time it was an old voice recording that fans began calling the lost therapy tape. It was said to have been recorded years earlier during a private family mediation session that was never meant to be shared. In the audio, a voice that sounded like Towanda admitted that she had taken financial help from more than one sister. She had promised to pay the money back once she received a settlement, but that promise had not been fulfilled. As soon as the recording spread, people online started connecting the dots. The anger grew quickly. Social media was flooded with reactions, and people began choosing sides. Some supported Tamar, others defended Towanda, and many were simply shocked by how deep the situation seemed to go. Old interviews, past episodes, and even small comments from years ago were being revisited and analyzed in a new light. Another leak followed shortly after, showing an internal memo from the production team. The document warned staff to be careful about handling sensitive issues related to financial disagreements among the cast. What made it even more surprising was that the memo was dated 2 years earlier. This suggested that the family had been dealing with these problems privately for a long time, trying to keep everything under control before it finally exploded in public. Tamar looked completely different now. She was no longer just angry, she seemed deeply hurt. In a quiet voice, she expressed how painful it had been to face public criticism for years while the truth was being hidden. She said that people had accused her of lying, yet no one had stepped forward to support her or confirm her side of the story. That silence had clearly left a lasting impact on her. Towanda, overwhelmed with emotion, broke down completely. She insisted that she had never intended to hurt anyone and that she was not trying to take advantage of her sisters. She explained that she had been going through a very difficult time and did not know how to fix the situation. However, Tamar was not ready to accept that explanation. She pointed out that listing her in bankruptcy filings meant making a deliberate choice, not just reacting out of desperation. Towanda tried to defend herself, saying she felt like she was drowning and did not see any other way out. She admitted that she had hoped things would somehow work out before Tamar ever found out the truth. That moment revealed something important. It showed that Towanda had not planned to be honest about the situation. Instead, she had hoped it would disappear quietly. Hearing that seemed to hit Tamar very hard. She stepped back, clearly hurt, and said that she felt used. She believed that Towanda had taken advantage of her kindness and the trust they shared as sisters. Towanda tried to reach out to her, but Tamar pulled away, unable to accept it in that moment. Then, as if the situation was not already overwhelming, another shocking leak appeared. This time it was a video featuring their mother, Evelyn Braxton. The clip appeared to be from an unaired moment that was never supposed to become public. In the video, Evelyn spoke in a calm but tired voice about the financial struggles within the family. She revealed that Towanda was not the only one who had taken money without paying it back. That single statement changed everything. It suggested that the problem was bigger than anyone had realized. Before she could say more, the video cut off, leaving everyone wondering which sister she was referring to. This incomplete information caused even more chaos online, as people tried to figure out the missing name. Eventually, a full version of the video surfaced. In it, Evelyn explained that more than one of her daughters had borrowed money with promises to repay it, but at least one of them never intended to return anything. She did not clearly name the person, but her words were enough to create a storm of speculation. Soon after, another piece of information came to light. A financial document showed repeated withdrawals labeled as family support loan. The account was not linked to Tamar, Towanda, or Tony. Instead, it was connected to their late sister, Tracy Braxton. This revelation shocked everyone even more because Tracy was no longer alive to explain or defend herself. The room fell silent as the weight of this discovery settled in. Tamar looked stunned, struggling to process what it meant. She pointed out how unfair it was that Tracy's name was now being pulled into the situation when she was not there to speak for herself. Towanda, already overwhelmed, broke down again, saying that she never wanted things to reach this point. Meanwhile, the internet continued to react. Some people defended Tracy, arguing that it was wrong to involve her without knowing the full story. Others questioned whether the leaks were even real, suggesting that someone might be trying to create more conflict within the family. The confusion and speculation only made the situation more intense. Just when it seemed like nothing else could surprise them, Tamar received a mysterious voicemail. The voice on the message was distorted, making it impossible to identify the person. The caller claimed to have a final recording that could reveal the full truth, including who knew what and who had been hiding things all along. They offered to share it, but only under strict conditions. Tamar would have to meet them alone, without cameras or family members. The message ended with a warning that once the recording became public, it would change everything. It would not just damage relationships within the family, but could also destroy the way the public saw them. The room went quiet as everyone realized how serious this had become. Tamar stood there, holding her phone, thinking about what to do next. Towanda looked at her, still in tears, knowing that whatever decision Tamar made could shape the future of their entire family. In that moment, one question hung in the air. What was in that final recording? Whatever the answer was, it was clear that this was no longer just a simple disagreement. It had grown into something much bigger, something that could change everything the world thought it knew about the Braxton family. And as the tension continued to build, it felt like the truth was getting closer, whether anyone was ready for it or not.